Switching to, 2020, 2021 predictions from your seat. I looked at this COVID thing. This hit everybody in a certain way. There's definitely some companies that are thriving, Zoom being one of them, as a result of this, but
Yeah.
most got affected, in some sort of negative fashion where there's some uncertainty. I felt like small businesses got hit first. We started our business under 2 years ago. There was definitely like a moment where it got real very quickly. And it was like, all right, I got an emergency plan. I got to make some moves. You're starting to see mid-level, mid-market companies start to make changes and moves, whether that be furloughs or layoffs or, shutting down business units, things like that. It's starting to affect some bigger companies that are not airlines, that are not, restaurant chains or movie theaters. How do you see this playing out? How you mentioned that you've done some research, or you try to do some research. How do you see this playing out, over the next several weeks, months, into next year?
Yeah, so I think there's obviously going to be a new normal when we do come back, and we will come back, and there's a lot out there. I guess when I've looked at this, I've really looked at it from like how I need to plan from my business standpoint, because it's just way too hard to predict, and you just hear so much. Is it June? Is it July? Second, third waves. What do those waves mean? So, I try to focus on the things that I can control. And, what I can control is doing my best to, keep my team employed and to keep them safe. So, we had a call yesterday and I just had a very real, as you had a moment, just a really real moment with our team. And while we haven't had to make any hard decisions today, I let them know that, hard decisions will be ahead. And, that being said, we're doing everything we can, to not have to make those, but I do want to properly and fairly communicate and plan with our team and let them know that we're putting all options on the table, and that my number one goal is the health and safety of everyone, that's on our team and their families. So I think, as this comes back, I think that you'll see a lot more work from home. Like for us, if you don't have to be in the office, I'm strongly going to encourage that, team members are working from home. But I also want to give people the ability to feel like they can get out into the world, as some of these bans, these lockdowns are lifted. And we may only allow a certain number of people in the office at certain times. We may think about space differently in how we do meetings in closed corridors. So I think the big thing for me is still trying to protect, the people we have in every way that we can. And then letting our team know that we are going to explore all options that help avoid, I would say, layoffs, right? I mean, but at the same time, we have to do everything we can right now to drive cash into the business. And we have to analyze and scrutinize every bit of cost. I mean, some of the interesting things that I've heard and that we've experienced in our own business is how many subscriptions and different platforms and tools are you paying for? What are all of your expenses? Do we really need, I think I was talking to a client that was paying some astronomical amount of money for each executive to have their own dedicated conference line, so that and really the use case where I was like, well, what's up with that? So that they know their pins, and the pin never changes. And it was an astronomical amount of money. When you look at something like Google gives it to you for free. I mean, Zoom as well. So it's they cut something like 60 grand off of an annual budget for a variety of pin codes, right? But to answer your question on a prediction, I think timeline, it feels like we're thinking towards July, to trying to get the economy back. I think it'll be really slow to get back. I think that because money hasn't gotten into the right hands fast enough, the unemployment rates are insane. Therefore, the ability for the consumer spend will not be strong. Organizations are going to need to really, think about how they bounce back too, and what they invest in and what they don't. So, I think that this is not a super optimistic picture, but it's going to teach us all that we've got to think and do things differently. It's also a great time, I think, to be entrepreneurial and to think of ideas, because, not only, is this kind of level setting the board, from a venture and startup standpoint, but we're also going to operate differently as humans. And so what ideas and opportunities arise from that? And so I think that's kind of the really cool thing. And so I'm spending a lot of time personally thinking on that. We're spending a lot of time organizationally thinking on that and trying to get our clients to as well. So yeah, that's where we're at. No, like, crystal ball and anything, but I think just like health and happiness and family is kind of where I'm really trying to stay oriented.